Hello, BookTube. Sorry about the interruption. We got interrupted. We're almost done, too. There's only one more question. The last question, this is the best friends, partners tag, in case you're coming to this without seeing the first one. And the last question is, have you read a book on the author's recommendation and not enjoyed it?
Yeah, I have. You're always pushing historical novels on me. A lot of Roman historical novels. A lot of...
And you don't ever like them?
Centurions and that sort of thing. I find them informational.
But not good.
I really enjoy
Really?
them.
Oh.
Yeah.
You see, that actually makes me more determined than ever to find one than you will. Did you read Pompeii?
No, I never read Pompeii.
No.
You didn't push that one on me. No, you push ones that have names like, I don't know, like Roman governor. Like, they don't even have good names. They just sort of like...
See, I went to high school with all the characters, so that makes a big difference.
Yeah.
And then, in the other direction,
Well,
the less said about Bogota, the better.
Everyone should read that.
Never let you live that down. Not only, you don't have to stop at saying they should all read it. You should read it. Oh.
Alan Gross-Stephan, an excellent book from Northwestern Press.
And that's it. That is the second half of the tag. We're only at a minute, so your suggestion is probably a very good one. We have mail, so we'll do that for the second part here. A handful of packages, so you get your money's worth. So what is this first one? Oh, goodness gracious! Oh, okay. This is the finished copy of something I think we've seen on this channel before. This is Cuba on the Verge, a collection of essays edited by Lila Guerrero on contemporary Cuba, where you've never been. You've never been to Cuba?
No. Have your subscribers gone since it's become opened up to?
But now we hate Cuba
again.
again.
Are all over the world.
No, we're all over the world, but we hate. America hates Cuba again.
Oh.
Not because the current U.S. president hates Cuba or thinks anything about an embargo one way or another. For one reason and one reason only, because his predecessor did it. So it has to be undone. It has to be reversed. If his predecessor had said, well, I'm thinking no more New York excise or state or building taxes on any Trump property forever, that would be reversed. I want to erase this person from history. So the embargo was lifted, and now it's back in place. So, but I have been, and I loved it. Wow, okay. So a collection of essays. I think we did see this. We saw. There's another Cuba book. There's a travel book about Cuba that we saw. But it wasn't this one. Okay, all right. Cuba on the Verge. No idea. It's a trip. It's an experience.
Yeah.
What's this next one?
I heard about this.
Really? All right, I haven't heard of it. This is Insomniac Dreams, the Dream Diaries of Vladimir Nabokov.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, I just realized I'm putting these in your face. A little Freudian wish fulfillment there. Pay attention to me! I'm not the famous book critic.
Yeah, he kept a dream journal, evidently.
Wow.
For a while.
Oh, and it's got actual excerpts from the journal. I wonder if in his dreams he was a talented writer. Do you think maybe in his dreams he was a talented writer? Couldn't resist. We don't get along, Nabokov and I. All right, this comes out on November 30th. Okay, I don't think there's anything I can do with this. But this isn't anything like the sort of thing you would do, right? No, there's no way. You have too much to consider as it is without going this far afield.
I don't know. But, that sort of book critics love because it's not a real book.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, it's just sort of random stuff, and then you can just extemporize. You can do improvisation in your piece, and you talk about.
Oh yeah, yeah. The London Review. The piece will all be about Nabokov, and we'll barely mention this thing.
Yeah, every time he talked about dreams and letters, every time he wrote a book in which somebody had a dream, every time whatever. If things from his dreams showed up in any of his novels, that's sort of interesting. It's interesting to think about how dreams inform
bad writers. I opened it at random, speaking of bad writers, to an epigraph from Cormac McCarthy. And what is that epigraph? Rightly heard, all tales are one. Does that strike you as true? Does that strike you as true? That if you hear it right, every single story that's ever been told is the same story? Does that seem right to you, Book 2? Or does it seem like maybe it's something that our author bent over and yanked out of his tuchus?
Why is that in there? What does that
No
have to
idea.
do with Nabokov's dreams?
Well, rightly
He's
told,
having-
all tales are one.
I see. There's no before or after.
Yeah, there's no before or after. And they're all the same story. You should try that in your next column.
I'm impressed with his dreams if he's dreaming about Cormac McCarthy in the 60s.
And then, rightly told, all tales are one. Yeah. Like he would know anything about a rightly told tale. Anyway. Oh, goodness. All right. Okay. I was wondering if we were going to go straightly in your strike, John, and here it is. This is a debut novel. This is Alternate Remedies for Loss by Joanna Cantor, which on the cover has a young woman doing a headstand, drawn by, it looks like, a preschooler. What have we got here? At 22, Olivia is looking for a fresh start, throwing herself headlong into the frenzied and glamorous New York City media world. But this new life represents something more vital for Olivia than it does for the countless other young people scrapping for their place among the Manhattan elite. As she fends off the barbed comments and demeaning bosses and the attention of lecherous older men, Olivia is still reeling from the loss of her mother. And none of the rest of the people in that teeming mass are suffering any loss at all. That's reserved for our heroine. That's what sets her apart. It's not just that she wants the job they all want that. No, it's that she's suffering from the loss of her mother. Whereas the rest of them never experienced loss of any kind. Sorry. Actually, don't rant in the middle of a synopsis. We'll push on ahead.
It's pretty egregious.
Just 4 months have passed since her mother's death, and everyone else in Olivia's family seems ready to move on. Sounds believable to me. How do you read this stuff? Week in and week out.
But this
How
is the
do you
jacket
do that?
copy. This is written by someone who didn't even read the book.
But she had to read the jacket copy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, it sounds believable to me. Okay,
Novelists out there watching this, do you have any say in your jacket copy? Because it's bad. It's always bad.
Just 4 months have passed since her mother's death, but everyone else in her family is ready to move on. Okay. All right. Okay. But she's not. And so in order to strike it into the New York media elite world, she took the shuttle from the planet Vulcan.
So her way of not moving on is to move to Manhattan and get a new job.
Well, let's see. Now we're both ranting in the middle of this thing. Her brothers. Oh, this is.
Is she
this
moving
is
on or is she not
every
moving on?
novelist, especially debut novelist, nightmare scenario is for their book to be picked apart by 2 professional critics on camera. But it isn't. Keep in mind, he's right. It isn't the book we're picking apart. All kinds of magic could happen. This is just the cover copy. Her brothers are settled comfortably in careers and families of their own, so they're not grieving. Her father has already started to date again after 4 months. The funeral meets have furnished forth the wedding feast. But as Olivia tried to piece together the adulthood without her mother to guide her, she makes a shocking discovery. A secret romantic correspondence her mother had with a man who only signed each letter F. Think there's any chance at all she's going to meet him in Manhattan? Think there's any chance at all that some of the people, the characters that we see her meet, are going to have F as the beginning of either their first or last name, and we're going to start to wonder. Oh. And we've already heard a mention of lecherous older men. All right, well, anyway, to solve the mystery of F, Olivia will journey halfway across the world. There is a mystery, of course, because he signs his letters F, and that's all we know about him. Because I'm sure that it matches your personal experience. It certainly matches mine. But the very first thing you do when you get a love letter is to throw away the envelope.
Yeah.
You don't keep it. No, of course not. Oh, wait, you do. Unless you're a character in a novel. I don't know how you read this stuff. All week long. Every week. I do it a little, and it gets me up to my eyeballs in rage. You do it all the time, and you're a stranger to rage. I don't understand. I don't understand it at all. I gotta assume there's some part of your life that I don't see where you kick parking meter attendants, and then when they turn around and say, "Why'd you do that?" you say, "You want a piece of me?" I gotta assume there's a Frank Costanza inside you.
I say debut novel, debut fiction.
She travels halfway across the world to an ashram in rural India on a quest that will reconfigure everything she thought she knew about her family and her own place in the world.
Okay.
So she's not in New York anymore.
No.
She went to an ashram in India. And I made a video the other day, and a lot of you have been emailing me about it, where I mentioned that money, ordinary, everyday money, is never brought up in contemporary fiction. It's never even alluded to. I can almost unconditionally guarantee you that according to the schemata laid out by this book, she cannot afford to fly to India and live without a job there while she joins an ashram.
When she goes to India, is she still paying her monthly rent in Manhattan?
In Manhattan, right. And how does she afford the plane ticket? I ask these questions all the time in contemporary fiction, where somebody, no names now, but for instance, if a character in a novel, in a comeback novel by a beloved author, suddenly picks up and flies to South America, in the context of the novel, I want to ask how I want to ask how that character actually afforded the plane ticket. In the context of the novel, he couldn't possibly do it. Anyway, so she's a debut novelist, or she was before this video. but it has a blurb by Maggie Shipstead, who did seating arrangements. Did you like seating arrangements? It was set in a kind of Martha's Vineyard.
Right, I did.
It's the one that had you didn't read it?
No, but I read Astonish Me, which was about dancing, about the world of ballet.
Really?
The world of...
I didn't read Astonish Me. I read seating arrangements. There were parts of it I really liked.
Yeah.
And the thing that surprised me about it is that she wrote her male characters much better than her female characters, and the older male characters better than the younger male characters. I don't know what that was. A really influential teacher. I don't know what it was, but I ended up kind of liking seating arrangements, and she has a blurb here. So, but wait, we still have time. We're at 12 minutes. Another thing that's been going around BookTube has been another BookTuber started a thing based on a literary prize in France, where the judges judge the long list by reading only page 112
Really?
of the book, and they don't judge the winner that way. But that's how they decide which books they want to see more of. That's how they decide the short list.
Wow.
And a BookTuber I very much like started a thing where we all grab a few books and read page 112. And we've got time. And it's our job. So let's see if maybe the author is more convincing than her cover copy. Olivia hadn't thought Max was going to sell the house right away, so this was not consoling. Ty and Christina want to get married here in the summer. June spoke slowly, almost fearfully, making Olivia mindful of what she was supposed to feel. A wedding at the house without her mother. Christina had mentioned it at Thanksgiving, but it was as though June thought redelivering this news, or making sure Olivia absorbed it, were her job. But at the moment, the wedding was the least of Olivia's concerns. On the train, once she had secured a seat for herself, Olivia took the folded papers out of her bag. Then she replaced them. She felt something akin to dread at the prospect of reading more. She stalled, texting Michel what train she was on, telling him that she was hungry and that maybe they should meet at a good bistro on 10th Street. Finally, just past Pelham, she unfolded the second sheet, the one that contained the photo. Ella, you look at the beach. Tuesday, my favorite day now. Counting the hours. Signed, F. That was it. 2 letters and one fairly recent photo, all referencing the beach. She read the first one again, then the second one again, and looked again at the back of the photo, but there was nothing more. She was pretty sure, though she could have kicked herself for not double or triple checking, that there had been no more letters like these in the pile. There had been nothing left but a few birthday cards. That is page 112. And that's pretty good.
Yeah.
Right? That's serviceable.
Yeah.
You would keep reading if you read that.
Sure.
I thought I detected a problem. Did I detect a problem? I detect the problems in the back of my mind, then I go back to look for them, which probably isn't fair. Leaving aside the fact that there are about 100 apps where she could identify a photo with anything that's online. So this would have to be a person who not only signed all of his letters F, never included his name. It would not only have to be that. It would not only have to be that her mother never kept any of the envelopes. It would also have to be that this person has no internet presence, which is unlikely. But but there was something. Oh yeah, it was minor. But at the moment, the wedding was the least of Olivia's concerns, which is a bit of an idiom. But
yeah.
But other than that, it's straightforward. It's not artsy fartsy.
No. No, it seems solid. I'm not quite sure about this scene on the train. I mean, what's it doing? It's there so that she can look at this photograph again.
Yeah,
Otherwise,
and on a train. I'd be willing to bet the setting won't give us a reason why she didn't do it earlier.
Right.
Writers love to do that. They love to have exploration happen.
Yeah.
Separate from. They love to have exploration happen isolated from everything else, so that it sort of stands on its own. It's a very cinematic habit. They get it because they've all watched movies before they've read books.
Yeah, and also it's a filler thing. You think, well, this person is here, and then I want this person to be there. So
I might as well use the travel. Oh, yes. Well, okay. Okay, book 2. So, Alternate Remedies for Loss is a debut novel by Joanna Cantor, which has now been raked over the coals. I should say when this comes out. It was out in May. It's probably the last you're going to hear about it from me, but you may write about it. You never know.
Who knows what will happen in May?
Who knows what will happen in May? None of us might be here in May.
Sorry.
Oh, yes. Then the Dream Notebook of Vladimir Nabokov, where his prose is controlled and he has plots, and then he wakes up. This was a horrible nightmare because you can rake in the dough without having either of those things. Why sweat it? What is this? The Gulag?
We're going back to that question of who has better literary taste.
I know. All right, okay. Yeah, you can read the label on the bottle here. And then a book about Cuba on the verge. And you know, whether we talk about the embargo, the U.S. embargo or not, I just realized that was a very typically American thing to think that a whole country's existence and worth is determined by us, by America. Cuba's on the verge anyway.
Yeah.
Right? Whether America's there or not.
It's a whole new era.
It's a whole new era, one way or another. It's unbelievably unlikely that an ironclad communist dictatorship is just going to continue as the Castro family dies out. That is unbelievably unlikely. If Mugabe can be overthrown, then a bunch of 90-year-olds can be overthrown for a system that the rest of the world literally acknowledges as a failure. There's one little patch of ground that you can walk in one day is the only place that doesn't acknowledge it was a failure. So it is on the verge, either way. So I don't know. I probably won't recognize any of the authors. But that actually has more worth than I might have thought. So there you go. It's a small mail haul and a long video. But maybe I will review the Joanna. What's her name again? Joanna Cantor. Maybe I will review it. Just
as penance.
As penance. As long as she's never going to see this video, but if she ever were, and the rest of you who are watching, as long as you understand, what you're seeing here is what critics do right away. The good ones, one of whom is in this video, and one of whom, fortunately, will be writing about the Austrian Empire when the time comes. The good ones, after they have these initial reactions, then go back and give the thing a completely fair hearing. As long as you know that. That's not how this happens usually. But anyway, there you go.
There you go.
That's the best friends partners tag and a savage mail haul. But it in a way, it isn't savage, right? Because elsewhere on YouTube, you can find pleasant videos. And as we know, properly told, all tales are one. I'm going to wrap this video up for now. Count your blessings, because that's the last you're going to hear about that Cormac McCarthy line, but not him. It's not the last he's going to hear of it. They can send help. He's waving goodbye. Sorry, BookTube. I'll see you soon.